Hi, hello and welcome to another episode of course,
China.
I'm Fernando and
I'm Ziv.
And today we are with Bram
Vandendriessche.
Vandendriessche.
Do correct us, yeah?
Yeah, Vandendriessche. I know it's a complicated name.
Okay, Ziv, why don't you give us a short introduction of Bram?
Sure. So Bram is from Belgium, and he's here running his family furniture factory in Dongguan, China. He came to China in 2012.
Correct.
And he comes from a family that has been almost 70 years in the furniture industry and making furniture for basically many countries around the world.
Correct.
In here. Thank you for having us here, hosting us in this
my pleasure. Thank you for
very interesting room that you have.
Yeah, tell us a little bit about what we see there at the back. What room is this? Is this your office?
It's my office. Well, basically, I have two offices.
Oh, okay.
I have one that is hidden that people cannot see where I can make the mess.
We're going there later.
So we're in the public area.
Where I have the stacks of papers.
Furniture here?
Well, R&D is right next to here. I'm doing some designs and stuff here, and then like you see, we have the chair coming, and then I have a look like which material are we going to use, how are we going to, do we have to make a change, and I sometimes make small changes, but most of the job is
so it's kind of a little bit of R&D extension.
Well, yeah, it's because for me it's I created this place because I think it's nice to receive customers and suppliers into a creative area so they can see like what you're working on, right. And also for myself to have like a place where you can do your creative stuff. I have two girls here also who are like kind of helping with the design and everything, and yeah, in the meanwhile, office, tea table,
right.
sofa.
We can see your designs on that wall there.
Yes. These are the shiniest grapes I've ever seen in my life.
It's not furniture.
Can you see them on camera? Okay, let me show you one.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Let's start, Bram, from this is after all, of course, China podcast. Let's start from that angle. Like you came to China in 2012 at a young age, right?
Yeah, 24.
Why did you come here? How did it happen?
Well, I used to work back in Belgium in our furniture stores, and my dad asked me to come here to implement some procedures, to do some quality control, and learn from the process here as well. That was the idea, to do that for 2 months, but here we are.
8 years later.
8 years later, yeah.
We know the story.
Yeah.
So you came for 2 months, and the factory is here since 2008.
2008, yes.
And before that, you made furniture in Europe?
Yeah, Europe, okay. Belgium, and East Europe, right. And then we started. My dad opened the factory.
So you came for 2 months. What happened? Why are you still here?
well, during those 2 months, I kind of fell in love with the business, the making of furniture, but especially also with the chaos in China. I'm not really the kind of guy to be in the fixed rhythms and
Europe is too
routine.
quiet.
Yeah, a little bit too much routine, and that's the nice thing. Well, nice thing can be for some people a bad thing, but I like it that your day is not predictable. In some way, I like that, like problem solving or yeah.
So after 2 months, you were here with, I think you told us before, with your dad. You were going back to Europe. Supposed to be that's it, right? Going back home, and then
then I talked to my dad to see if there was a permanent position for me to stay in the factory. Which there was.
What was that position?
Well, I was mainly doing quality control in the beginning, and then some development of new designs and everything, because I was working in the shops and I knew what the end customers were looking for. But yeah, that's what I mainly. And I was actually the one asking my dad, can I?
And he was okay with you staying here. He was happy, or?
Yeah, obviously, yeah. As a father, I think you're happy that if you have a factory across the world, to have somebody that you can trust and relate on to
And
run your business. Well, to be at your business to start, and then later.
And today you're running the factory.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so you worked your way up to where you are right now.
It's not like right away, you know, my dad owns the company, I'm here, the boss.
Go be a GM.
Right.
My dad is not that easy.
That's a good thing, I guess.
I wanted to ask you a
definitely.
question about education. Is this something that you studied for? What did you study? Or how do you prepare yourself for a career in furniture making?
Well, I actually, until I was 18 years old, I always said I wouldn't start in the family business. I think that was mainly because my dad was always working a lot, was up before we woke up and came often home when we were already in bed. So that's more like as a kid, you want to spend more time with your dad. So it's like, but then later, yeah, once I was 18 years old, when I finished school, I didn't go to the university. I started working with my dad. Because what better university can you have than somebody who can pass all the experience to you. And then I started working in one of the shops. My idea was, okay, I'm gonna start here and I'll see what I do, and I got like the kind of, in Belgium we say
hands-on experience, I guess.
Yeah, but in Belgium we say like I get the feel to furniture, and I started to be really interested in it, and selling in retail is quite making good sales, and then selling certain pieces of furniture gives you a kick. Like it gives you like a really good feeling.
You made a sale.
You made a sale and the satisfaction. And I had the advantage. Most salespeople, they don't want to teach. If there's a new salesperson coming in the business, they don't want to teach anybody. But because I was the son of the owner, they were okay with sharing their experience. And their sales tricks. So thanks to that, I could take some of the sales tricks of all the different salespeople and then create my own sales style. But because I learned from a lot of different people, a lot of people who worked in our business for a very long time, I was able to sell quite well, I think I can say, which made that I really like to do the job.
So as a child, as a child, you remember talking about furniture? Your dad, did you go to walk with him sometimes? Yeah,
definitely. As kids, we were going to the warehouse, help to clean in the warehouse, help to load trucks. Also, even in the shop, sometimes in the weekends, help in the shop, because we were actually, until I got, I think, 14 years old or something, we were living next to one of the shops, like a home that was connected to one of the shops.
Okay.
And we literally had a door between the house and the shop. So we would daily be
jumping on the sofa.
No,
Dad is like,
your sofa. I never did
not your sofa.
He never did it. Yes, he never did it.
That's watching. So
no, I wanted to ask you a little bit about some of the things that we see. Okay, you guys can't see it, but at the back we have like a lot of drawings and stuff, which seem quite technical. Is this something that you've learned, you studied? How do you get to that level of design?
Well, first of all, not all of them are done by me, but and second, I studied for graphical techniques. Is what the literally translated, but it was more like Photoshop, Illustrator, that kind of things. But yeah, this
is like industrial design together with graphic design. What is it? How it like?
Because you start with a function that you want, and okay, how do I make it happen? Or a certain look, how do I make it? Yeah,
right.
Because you might know what you want it to look, but how do you actually make it? That's the.
Well, in some cases we start with an existing mechanism, and then you start building around it, like the chair that is behind it, like the recliner. It's a set mechanism, and you cannot make the footstool shorter or much longer than it is, because it has to turn under
but you
the
also
seat
have
and
a
all
say
of it.
who designed the system?
The system is not designed by me, but what we do is the supplier design the system, and then we come up with new ideas.
And they change
new techniques, and then we ask them, and then they make drawings or new armrests, because what is very, very popular right now is to have a lot of metal in furniture, like combination of upholstery and metal. So like a metal armrest, and then we ask the supplier to develop that for us and that kind of.
Do you okay? So your company and your family is doing furniture for a very long time. How is there a change in furniture design, in furniture production
definitely,
from like 20, 30, 40 years ago?
Well, in my opinion, one of the biggest changes is the amount of money that people are spending on their furniture. But this, I think, is directly related with the fact that young people are moving much more than the older generations.
Right.
Older generations, they buy their home and they live in one place, or even several generations in the same place, while now young people like to live for 4 or 5 years there and then they move there.
Does
Or
this
they
mean
just can't afford to buy a house.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Of course.
And then you see IKEA or something like that, right?
Yeah.
and that were probably also part of that change. I don't know if that can be because of the change or that made the change.
It's kind of hard to say. It's also it's definitely a demand and supply thing. I mean, if there is no too much supply of cheap things, then
Right.
People cannot find too much. And I think that's, if I may say, a kind of mistake in general that was made in the furniture business, that everybody was looking for cheaper, and then all the prices go down, and then it
I
affects
think
the complete.
what you
the
see
complete
is something
business.
that you see in the economy. Is like, for example, if I sell you a car that lasts for 20 years, I'm not going to sell you another car.
Right, like the
so
phones.
basically, exactly. So the more easy to break or quicker to damage, then the sooner you replace it. So I'll make another sale sooner. So perhaps that's what they did. I mean, when they started working with this, what's it called, plywood? Mm-hmm. Plywood is the most, I don't know why. Do you know what I mean? It's not real wood. It's just they make it up and it's very flexible.
Plywood is real wood. I think
what's it called?
MDF, or you're talking about chipboard,
chipboard, exactly. Sorry,
particle board or something like that. Yeah, plywood or layers of.
In one word, capitalism, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you know, I mean, but yeah. So you mean, is it more challenging now? You think the furniture business, or you found ways? You actually maybe in some way you can differentiate your own company better.
Well, it's the same thing in all businesses. I think you wanna, if you don't want to go with the mainstream, you have to be different in some way. What we started to do different in China from the beginning is giving people the possibility, B2B, then people, retailers or wholesalers, to buy mixed containers. So this is something in 2008 when my dad started in China, you couldn't find. You couldn't find one factory that would, in one container, mix up all different models.
Okay.
It would be full container, one model, same set, same color, and big quantities. So that was the big difference in the beginning. This is something that a lot of Chinese factories are turning to now as well. So
it was harder to...
So yeah, we have different challenges now. We have different ways to be different, but now we do that with technology and yeah.
Is furniture making the same, basically, like whether it's in Europe or whether it's in China?
Yeah.
But there are some differences.
Well,
is there any advantage to do it here?
The advantage to do it here definitely is the supply of materials. Because all the fabrics, companies who work with PU, it's all coming from here. Mechanisms are made here. The motors that we use in recliners are made here.
So even if you make it in Europe, you still need to get supplies from here.
Exactly, yeah.
It's one of the reasons why people say that it's very difficult for manufacturing to move out of China, because it's not just that manufacturing, it's the supply chain.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
I wanted to ask you a little question about what's your opinion on Chinese furniture? Now, we're in China. You've all seen this kind of Chinese sofas and Chinese tables. Very, very hard.
Good thing you asked him and not me. Be diplomatic, yeah.
Well, in the furniture business, in the Chinese furniture business defense, I have to say that they have done a really amazing job in the last years. But I get what you mean, like the standard things that you see in the waiting rooms or that kind of
like
things.
Just wood, right?
Yeah. Or even upholstered, but it's like you go to sit on a rock. It's upholstered with leather, but it feels like you're sitting on a rock.
Yeah.
In my opinion, comfort-wise, they're definitely not the greatest.
But I mean, do you, for example, in terms of the market, right? You're here in China. If you wanted to penetrate the market, is that difficult to change, or do you think that the Chinese mentality is changing to I also want something comfortable, or just?
Yeah, it's definitely changing, especially in the higher class. A lot of people are buying products coming from Europe or higher quality products made in China. So yeah, and different design than what they used to. I think in the higher class now there's like two groups. There is one group that still wants to go to really the traditional furniture, and then there is a group that has the possibility and has the money to buy high class European style furniture.
In terms of wood, is there any country that you bring wood from, or specifically?
Yeah, but the thing is, for upholstered furniture, we're working with imported wood from US and Canada. But for upholstered furniture, the most important is that it's a hardwood. And for us, the most important is that it's nice straight, because it's much easier to work with in production. A lot of Chinese factories, they use eucalyptus wood. Because it's very cheap, it's a very quick growing tree.
Very fast,
it's a very fast growing tree, but it's quite small. And one of the characteristics is that it's very bended. That's why for an upholstered sofa, typically produced by Chinese factory, inside the frame might go in all different directions, but you won't see it because it's covered anyway.
So you import the wood because of quality.
Yeah, and especially because they are nicely straight and yeah.
But which tree do you use?
Poplar and pine.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's consistent, you mean? That's why.
It's consistent and it's nicely straight. The thickness is
so you said before that the supply chain is here, but I guess is wood the only exception?
That's one of the only exceptions. Yeah, our leather is also imported from Italy. We buy some in Brazil as well.
But then probably the sales office for those tanneries are here too. Or not?
Yeah, most of them have agents.
So you still can deal with them here.
But a lot of the ones we work with is directly with the tannery, because the agents still, they're still taking commission, and they're still
direct,
we can go direct because we have the volume to buy full containers of with the tannery directly.
So you make upholstery furniture, but not only, right?
Yeah.
What do you make? Like, what kind of furniture?
So here in this factory, all we make is upholstered furniture.
Okay.
Upholstered, for the people who don't know, is covered leather fabric, and then we have a partnership in Huizhou where we make metal furniture, and then in combination with
like
in this case it's not ceramic, it's glass, but we also metal in combination with ceramics. And dining chairs as well. Yeah.
What can you tell us about upholstery furniture making? Like, what's involved? Like, how much wood is it in there? And
well, in wood-wise, it's well, quite okay. It's very hard for me to answer that question because I was born in furniture, so it's to put myself in the mindset of somebody who doesn't know. Yeah. Right. But one of the biggest costs for upholstered furniture is the actual material that you cover it with. Because if you go to real leather, you go much higher in price, often even double from compared to fabric. So that's going to be the main cost. Obviously, then there is the foam to create your seat comfort.
Which is why your parents tell you don't jump on the sofa.
Yeah, but there are a lot of sofas that are okay to be jumped on. Yeah? It all depends on the quality that you have inside.
You can jump on our sofa.
But that's one of the things that a lot of people don't know is that with the inside of the sofa you can play so much, you can change so much.
The different materials?
Yeah, but also the foam, the density of the foam, the hardness of the foam, especially the density of the foam. You can have a very low density, then your foam obviously is much
from Chinese rock to American
clouds. But with density, I mean how much real foam, how much material you have per cubic meter.
Okay.
Then you have the hardness, so you can perfectly have a foam that is as hard. So a low density foam that is as hard as a high density foam, feel wise, but you have less material. But you have less material. So what they do, foam definitely, obviously is a chemical product. But in most cases, there are still other possibilities. But so what they do is a combination of different chemicals, and then it will expand.
Right.
So and the density is. Depending on how much air you have while the foam is expanding.
But
so the more air you have, the less strong your foam is, the easier it will start to
and there is no
one
perfect way. There is just
Well, there is a perfect way, is as high possible density as possible, because quality-wise it will be better. You can have a very high foam which is very dense, but with a very low hardness, which is very soft. So you can. Yeah.
The other thing that I wanted to ask as well, you were talking about upholstery and the leather. When I think about leather and shoes, it's like very, very small cuts, right?
Right.
But this,
it's true.
How do you get like a leather that long, that big? Yeah, it's like each cushion would be a hide almost.
Yeah.
How it makes it so expensive?
Is that a challenge?
Yeah, that makes it much more expensive, because the selection of hides that we need to buy is much higher than certain other businesses. Because if you have to cut small pieces, although what a lot of people don't know is that the best selections often still go to shoes and bags and everything. So the second selection basically is for furniture, but then we have to take the best selection of what is left after the fashion industry. But yeah, it's because a lot of people think like, oh, there is this much leather inside, but it's not only the leather what is inside, but it's also the leather waste. Because when you cut a piece of leather, everything that is around that is too small to be used into another sofa is waste. Yeah. So that part needs to be paid as well.
Exactly. When you look at something like that big, like I can see that all the little corners or the space for the legs is wasted.
I remember when I was a kid, like our sofa in the living room, after some years, my parents just sent it to someone and they just did a new upholstery. Yeah, right? I mean, does this still happen? I mean, in today's economy?
To reupholster, yeah, there are still people who are doing it, but it's I think it's more a nostalgic feeling, like or a very high design piece or something like that.
Because also, I think maybe it was also like the fashion changed. And the color was not like anymore nice.
But I think also the reason why it was done before, it was because it was much cheaper than buying a complete new sofa.
Right.
Now the difference is much smaller than.
And I guess maybe even there are less professional places, or like whatever it is, mom and pop shops to do this even.
Yeah, much less. Yeah.
So you don't do it in this factory. I can send you my sofa.
No, we don't do. Well, the hardest part about is that every sofa that you make, you need to make patterns, and the most expensive people in our company are the people in which are in R&D, in research and development. So if they need to spend time to just recover one sofa, it's gonna cost me too much because of the time that they're spending to make the patterns and everything. Exactly. Yeah. It's only interesting for me to do it once I know that there is quantity going to follow, because more
as a factory.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. So still on furniture making, right? So you talked about the foam and the upholstery. Right, so you use wood for other parts, I guess, right?
Yeah, wood. We make a combination of solid wood and plywood, which is with real wood, not the cheap one.
I correct myself.
Learned something.
I'm joking. But plywood is actually quite strong, and we use like the highest possible available plywood
and metal.
And then metal, metal. But inside of a sofa, inside of the frame of the sofa, we mainly use wood. Unless when we're talking about the chair behind me, which is with the mechanism.
Right.
Then there's
we were talking about sofa, but I mean upholstery, furniture, similar in some way, right? The chair, if it's upholstery, some of the process is the same. So what is the most challenging part?
There are several quite challenging parts. The making of the frames, in my opinion, is quite challenging because you need to. Those guys basically memorize all the different models that we have in collection, because every time you need to go back to a piece of paper, it's a puzzle that you're making. Actually, if you see how many pieces there are.
And it's very labor intensive. You said 80-90%. It's
80 to 90% of making a sofa is made by hand. Yeah,
which
because
is unlike,
the sewing. You need to do it's a machine doing it, but there's a person sitting behind every sewing machine. You got the upholstery, the packaging is manual, the wood cutting is partly CNC, but everything, mostly what you cut by the solid wood is also done by hand.
But some other furniture, other kind of furnitures can be done less labor intensive.
Yeah,
right?
definitely.
Yeah.
Depending, like if you're making closets or
cabinets.
or cabinets or even beds which are with veneer or something like that is less labor intensive. But upholstered furniture, it's almost impossible to.
And what about the skills of the Chinese workers, the professionals, right? I mean, 2008, you guys opened the factory here. Did you the skill was already here, or did they still need to learn?
Well, that was one of the main reasons why my dad started here in Dalingshan, because Dalingshan is actually the furniture town. It's together with Foshan, they're the two most famous places in Guangdong province where furniture is being made. But
so the skill was already.
So the skill was basically already here, but now it is much more difficult to find workers because there are several things like the DDs and Mate One. So for the people watching out of China,
you mean the jobs,
the Chinese Uber and the food delivery and everything, because those guys are earning a quite good salary and they're quite free. While a worker who is working in the factory would need to work hard, tiring, specific skill. While, okay, for driving, your skill is driving, but it's one skill. While tomorrow you make a different kind of sofa, you need different kind of skill.
Since you talk about this, I guess it's very interesting for some of the audience. That probably in 2008, when you guys opened the factory, I'm guessing that some people on the factory floor were making $200 a month. And now there's no way. This is much more, right?
It's much more. It's much more. Well, in furniture, mainly we're paying in piecework. So for every piece that the worker makes by themselves, they get. Obviously, they have a minimum. They have a minimum salary per month. But then the idea is that if they work overtime or then whatever they make extra, they are.
So it's not exactly per hour, but it's kind of the same.
Per unit.
Well,
incentive.
If you are working more efficient, then you will earn more. So it's not only about how quick you are, but also how efficient you make it.
This is an old system. You've done it this way for a long time, or is there something?
It was since the beginning. In my opinion, it's not always the best system, but in that point of view, it's very hard in China to find the right payment system. Because sometimes it's better to motivate people with the more you make, but then your quality is being affected by it. So you need to find a way that also, if the quality is not good, then it will affect your piecework like that. So it's very complicated.
So what do you do with? I say it's more difficult to find the right people these days. I know that from many companies. I think Fernando and others too. And how do you find right people? Do you need to? I mean, it's one of the big challenges now.
Well,
right?
in general, obviously the salaries are higher.
Going higher and higher.
The reason, I think the biggest reason why the salaries are higher, because that's what I wanted to say as well, is that there are big companies in technology that came to Dongguan because Shenzhen became too expensive, and they come. Dongguan is the closest big city close by Shenzhen, which is much cheaper, which makes that they're attracting a lot of the workers. And for technology, the people basically don't need to have any skill. They're all day long drilling the same screw, or all day long clipping the same clip, and doing the same thing. They're sitting in a very nice environment, AC, clean, and I mean, furniture making. If you're sanding wood, you can be wearing a mask, you can do whatever you want, but still you're in that environment that is much more intensive. And then obviously for the companies in technology, they have such a high margins that it's easier for them to pay a good salary.
Right.
So that's basically how the technology transfer happens. They kind of like they pay people a little bit more, and then
so basically need to pay higher and higher.
Well, that's one of the things, but also one of the ways we attract people is try to improve the environment as well. It's not only because if you see in some factories, it's really very poor environment, and this is something in different ways. Yeah, and have it clean, have good food, because that's one of the most important things. It's the food. People are living here; they eat here three times a day. So that's
all right, cool. Well, we're gonna take a very short break, and we're gonna come back talk more about furniture in China. So don't go anywhere.
And we are back with, of course, China. So Bram, just before the break, we were talking about the labor, and I wanted to ask about, since everything is made now in China, a lot of things, right? You guys started here in 2008, and I don't know when they started to make furniture in China before that.
That's hard for me to answer.
Quite long before that, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm quite sure.
And nowadays in Europe, I mean, same with shoes in other countries, right? With furniture, are there any more professional people that can really make furniture the same way they make it here?
Well, I think most of the people who are still in furniture are like previous generation. There are still some young people doing it, but it's less and less. And also in schools, there are not too many schools that are teaching furniture making.
Like in the old times, it was basically what, carpenters?
Yeah.
Making furniture in workshops everywhere, and you probably don't see much of that anymore.
No,
it's becoming more of an art or a passion.
Yeah,
right.
Definitely. Like you said before, with recovering a sofa, that's really becoming hard to find and also becoming more expensive because it's a very...
And young people are not going to pick it up and do it themselves in the garage anymore. This is like, they're in their phones.
I know one guy of my age back in Belgium, in my hometown, that does it, but
he's into it though. It's a passion.
Yeah, he likes it, yeah.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, I think it's the same thing as me. There are a lot of businesses where the new generation doesn't want to take over the business of the old generation anymore.
And how about pollution, right? Because I mean, you have a lot of news, China and pollution and all the factories, and actually, you've been here 8 years, I've been here a long time. It's gotten so much better, right? How is this industry with pollution, furniture?
Well, furniture, of course, is a very, very wide group.
Right.
Because you got painted furniture. But
I mean, the actual making furniture, I guess, less than the materials you need for the furniture, right?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, for us, I think the pollution we have here of the factory is very, very minimal. Mm-hmm. We have a vacuum machine in the wood department, which is filtering all the air and taking all the particles out, and then it's going in a silo. And for the rest, it's really very, very minimal. The glue we use is water based. You
still try to be as
definitely, yeah. That's
so polluting.
It's more and more important.
Is there a requirement? Do the government check sometimes?
Definitely, yeah. And the hard thing is that in China, they're really, really trying to do a lot of efforts to catch up on the environmental issues, which makes that every year there are new changes and there are new things and you need to follow new rules, which in some way it's a good thing.
Right.
But in another way it's also affecting productivity, it's affecting your cost, and it's definitely a challenge as well.
Customers care about this?
There are customers that care about it, and then there are other customers that only care about the product and only care about the cost. Yeah,
sure. It's like when you make a product that you can actually label and market as, hey, this is environment friendly for this particular reason or this particular aspect of the environment, then you can get customers that go and buy that for that particular reason. So,
but then making the wood and the leather even more, right? What do you check when you pick a supplier and stuff like that?
In terms of environment?
Yeah. Yeah, we're obviously always careful. The wood we buy definitely is always coming from sustainable forests. The leather is the same thing. We work with tanneries that guarantee to work according to the regulations, and also deforesting and
What is a sustainable forest?
Sustainable forest means that they, for every tree that is being cut, that they are planting at least one.
But are there rules about it? Do you have to? Not every company does it, or
well, not everybody does it, but that's
I think it's more about countries. Wherever you operate, whatever the country operates, they have certain standards. So
regulations. Yeah.
You plant one or two or whatever.
Right.
Yeah, but the big conflict that there is in Brazil basically is that Brazil is huge for leather and beef and whatnot. So they're cutting the forest to make more room for more cattle. Oh. So it's like that balance of more cattle or more trees.
That's what I meant just now. But yeah, we carefully select our tanneries that we work with. It's definitely it's not a marketing thing, or it's just a something that we care about, that we really, my dad as well is always with everything since I'm a kid, he always about small things, switch off the light, and now even more, he's always make sure to don't waste any materials, so we're really focused on that. And obviously wasting materials is bad for the environment and is also bad for your wallet.
Company,
so, so it's a combination of the two.
So leather is a big very polluting industry, right?
Yeah, because of the chrome. But there are now new techniques as well where they make leather without the use of chrome. So that's definitely something I'm looking into. But that's still in its first footsteps. So
I don't know if you heard about that, but Elon Musk is promoting his leather in the car, which is not leather. It's like
what is it? The impossible leather?
Leather or vegetarian? Excuse me if I'm just not saying the right thing, but it's leather that is not leather.
It's from the cows that make the impossible meat.
It's from PU cows. You know?
PU cows. It's a good invention.
No, but have you heard about that? Or is there been any implementation into furniture?
Yeah, I've heard about it. Obviously, there are already a lot of implementations of PVCs, PUs, and that kind of
so
materials.
The technology evolved.
The technology evolves a lot, but still it depends a lot to which country you sell to, because every country, China is very humid, gets very hot, in winter gets very cold. So in every country a material is having different effects, is
more or less successful.
So yeah, that's one of the things. So we are selling in many different countries, but yeah, for us, I'm sorry for the vegans, but yeah, most of the people in upholstered furniture have a heart for leather as well.
For the consumer, right? Like me, you don't really know much about it. What is the difference between buying a leather sofa to what I remember the term pleather, right? Like PU leather. Or whatever, PVC, right? Like in terms of what? Like how long the sofa will hold well, or what is the difference? Like if I buy a leather sofa, how long do you think it will be no problem?
If you buy a leather sofa and you buy like really a good leather
sofa, yeah,
it can last a lifetime easily.
Okay.
The problem is that also in leather there are a lot of different techniques and different leathers, right. Which, like, one of the most common things is the peeling off of leather.
The way
what people talk about. That's actually not your leather that is peeling off. That is the color layer that they on that type of leather that they put on top.
Okay.
That is coming loose off your leather because of humidity, because of temperature, because of using of wrong products or whatever. So I prefer much more semi-aniline and aniline leathers, which are much more natural. And then you're talking about the leather itself, the material itself, and leather is undestroyable.
During the preparation, you were telling us about this. I don't know if you guys get to see that chair. He said that's his chair, and you were telling us about this aniline leather.
Aniline leather, yeah.
And you were telling us some of the characteristics of this particular kind of leather, that it gets stained. It's just natural. It doesn't have any.
And it's cheaper to make, I guess. Right?
Well,
maybe not. I don't know.
No, because the selection of hides is much higher. Because in this kind of leather, so what they do with most of the leathers is what we call pigmented leathers. They cover. They cover most, a lot of different colors or small scars. You will barely see.
You get
because they print. So first they put the layer of paint, and then they put the print. They emboss the print into the leather, which makes that you see much less.
So since this is not finished and not processed, you're still trying to get the best pieces, harder to find. That's what you mean?
Because you need less scars. You need also in leather you have brand marks. Right. So and if the cows are being sold from one farm owner to another one, they have more brand marks. So if you have 3 brand marks on a hide, you waste a lot of your leather. So you need cows with less brand marks, with less scars. And
I learned a little bit about cattle that is attacked by ticks. It's so bad for leather because it leaves a scar.
Yeah.
So
and there are other insect bites as well that are affecting. Also, that's why cattle from South America very often is much more, the hides are much more often damaged because a lot of them have the horns.
Yeah.
So they will fight with each other and they will damage the hide.
The barbed wire.
And just be good cows.
Yeah. It all depends how well they are treated and how. But in South America it's a side product because the main product is the meat. In a lot of in Europe, they really treat the leather very well. That's why the European hides are much more expensive as well.
So just before we go more into maybe leather and your actual products, what about PU? Is it PU, PVC? Which one more?
It's different. It's a different production, PVC and
what's the difference between PU and PVC?
PVC is a much more chemical, but will last much longer than PU as well. Specifically for when it's humid, PVC is better than PU, but PU is mainly softer than PVC.
The shaving, or how do you call it? The things that fall.
So
like I got a PU sofa and it's way more than leather. It's like,
of course.
It's like, what's this? Do you have dirt on your shoes? No, it's the sofa. I mean, so like that has a very short life.
Yeah, but specifically here in China because of the humidity, that's and the change in temperature as well because you have very high. Yeah,
so I'll send it to you to upholster with leather.
Bram, I remember when we were starting to do our preparation, we were talking about I can't think of a brand of furniture. It's not a thing that's on top of my head. And you are currently trying to start your own brand. Is it only in China or internationally as well?
No, internationally. Start my own brand. We have some brands, but we have never really focused on really creating our brand.
Branding.
Am I an exception?
Branding.
I mean,
what are the famous brands that you can say? Like really like
Poltrona Frau.
And we don't know.
B&B Italia. Now I'm saying the Italian ones, which Italian furniture is very famous because they are very good at marketing as well. Natuzzi is one of the big ones. Cheers, you guys will probably know. Is in America is quite big and no.
I'm not lying to you. I couldn't think of one brand.
Maybe if we had more money, Fernando, we knew.
Well, Cheers is not an expensive one. But
we know IKEA.
Sounds like bar furniture. Cheers.
Yeah. So there are some brands.
What is your brand?
Modulax. Well, it's Modulax by Medalounger. So
Medalounger is the big company, the mother company.
Yes.
And it's also a brand of the furniture.
It's also brand but so most of our furniture was made under that collection. Now the Modulax collection. I'm doing separate because it's a specific mechanism. It's a
That's
specific
only the recliners?
style. Yeah, there we're only doing recliners. Well, for the Asian market, because in Asia people are really looking for the complete set. We're going to combine other furniture as well.
That you make.
Yes, exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's your own brand. I mean, it's not your family's brand; it's your own brand.
Well, Modulax is still under the family. Is still family owned. Is in the same company, but I'm doing the designs. I think what you're talking about is
it's another one.
Another company.
One. Which we get. So what's the other one?
Well, that's Slide Furniture. That's a company I started.
That's another one
together with a partner.
Right. Yeah. So what? Since you saw that we don't know brands of furniture, it's probably very difficult to do marketing for furniture brands. How is it?
Well, I think the hardest part is also because in all different countries there are a lot of different styles. While with a phone is a phone, a computer is a computer. But in the US, the styles are completely different than in Europe, and even within Europe, between Belgium and Holland and Germany and France, we also have a lot of different styles, different materials, different. So if you do marketing, it's much less international. That's why the Italian brands are quite good, because one, the Italians are just good at marketing in general, and two, it's they are, because
they are famous for design, maybe. That's why Italian design.
Yeah, also design and marketing and talking about themselves, how good they are.
El mio sol.
So they are the famous one for furniture.
Yeah, they're quite famous. Yeah, especially upholstered furniture as well.
Okay. So this Modulax brand, you started this last year, right?
Well, it was an existing brand, which now we're reviving it with a new collection. Yeah,
and what is special with these recliners? I mean, we tried it; it's really comfortable.
So you know what's so special.
I already told you. Usually we take samples home, but you say Timbutong.
Doesn't fit in my car.
We'll get a Didi.
But I can make a deal. If you guys keep the audio equipment and the video equipment here, then you can take one side.
Timbutong.
So let's share some samples.
So what is unique? What is special in your?
Well, in this case, it's a motorized recliner with 3 motors. Which one of the 3 motors is to open the footstool. The other one is for the backrest. And then the very specific thing about this one is that the third motor is creating extra inclination. So if you sit in the maximum position, you get in the hard balance position.
Yeah,
is what we call.
What is that?
Yeah, then so if you sit in the hard balance position, you're laying back, maximum inclination, your legs the highest, and your back the most, and then your feet come at the same level as your heart, which makes that. Yeah, that's why a hard balance. Yes.
Yeah.
I was thinking hard balance, like hard to achieve that balance.
No,
hard balance.
Yes.
Okay.
So you're hard and your feet are at the same level, which makes that your heart doesn't have to work as hard to.
So you do marketing for heart condition people?
Well, actually, this is something that in the market is already being told by a lot of brands about this kind of products. But we are actually in clinical trials for the moment because a lot of brands are saying that it's the case, which actually now I'm doing myself as well. But I really want to be able to prove and say, like, listen, we did clinical trials with our chairs, and
this does have an effect.
And it really has this effect.
So basically, you achieve a lower heartbeat in a way, I guess.
Yeah, kind of. And your body is recovering quicker and in a more relaxed state.
So basically, for the regular person, it's just more relaxed to be in that state.
Yeah, exactly.
More relaxing.
Yeah.
Right. Interesting.
Are there? You were talking about different markets and what different people want. In America, for example, I remember watching Friends, and when they got the Lazy Boys or Lazy whatever,
that's the one I know,
right? Yeah. That's the only brand that I know.
I don't know they still exist.
What do they want in America that is different from Europe? For example, speakers or I don't know, Wi-Fi. I don't.
Well, first of all, the biggest difference, in my opinion, is comfort. Americans like very soft comfort, where Europeans like a little bit more firm comfort.
More like China?
No, not that much.
No, not that much. Like let's say
in between.
True.
Like Europe is in between the US and
Americans,
China, right?
It's really soft. Like it almost feels wrong a little bit. Like that can be that
You're
healthy.
sleeping on a hammock.
No, that's not soft, right? You know, like they want that cushion that is super soft, right?
Yeah.
And this is not. So this is one of the main differences.
That's one of the main differences. Another difference, in my opinion, is the style of sofas that in general are like the Lazy Boys are much more. Are bigger and more voluminous, bulky. Yeah.
What's your take on these? Because we were talking about this one, and you mentioned something about massage, integrating massage into this chair. I don't know if that's a secret. We could cut this, but is that a big market?
Well,
massage
especially
for
the Asian market.
I know you go to any mall, any supermarket, and you see people like.
I don't know anymore. Do they not have it back home?
Airport. No.
I don't know. We haven't been back
At least
home.
I was there in 2018, and I don't remember seeing this. But in Asia, any mall, any supermarket, there's uncles and the aunties.
Personally, honestly, I don't like that so much. I mean, definitely would prefer to just pay someone and go to a proper massage. But you say Asian markets.
Yeah, but what I'm doing is integrating. The first thing I want to integrate is a lumbar so which gives you more support in your lower back.
Yeah.
So this is something that I strongly believe that internationally will be something interesting, and the massage specifically, for the Asian market. Asia is so big, and just China is such a big part of the world.
Is it difficult to integrate? Or
it's quite difficult, especially
Pneumatics.
because a lot of the brands that use massage, the chairs are very bulky and they're closed until the floor. So for me, the idea is to
make it stylish,
to bring design and massage.
And you have a remote control, which I'm sure some you're not the first one, I guess, right? So you say you're doing the massage. What else can you integrate with something like this? Now it makes me think about the difference with America, where they would want a beer holder or something, you know?
That's something very typical for America is the cup holders
and the fridge and the little
the fridge with a beer, you know, any speaker or maybe a phone charger or something.
Remote control holder,
comfort,
speakers.
Comfort in expense of, you know, other things.
In expense of design.
Right, exactly, right.
Yeah.
You know, but I think for European, maybe the case you still want it to be classic or elegant.
Yeah, more clean and yeah.
Do people in Europe have recliners in your home, or is it common?
Well, in Europe we sell them quite well, but what people do very often is they get a sofa and then they add one recliner, which is not necessarily of the same set. So you put the sofa, and then later people, okay, I'm going to get a recliner to watch TV or something like that.
When also with the regular sofas, right, the 3 and 2 seaters, and I guess you need to think differently when it's like, well, maybe Americans like more to lie on their sofa or something like. It's different kind of sofas, right?
But that kind of recliners you have in Europe as well, but less. People in Europe are more and more looking for cleaner and lower backrest and this kind. So when you do a design and you want to have comfort, it's something that is very hard to combine, because design nowadays is low backrests, low armrests, low seating even. While if you want to have comfort, you actually need support for your back. You need a higher backrest.
So you design different products for different markets, or?
We do design different products for different markets, but obviously we try to work with the markets that are leaning towards each other style-wise.
I wanted to ask you one question. Is it easy? Is it common to get your designs copied?
Very common.
In China, you always hear that they copy everything. Is it something that happens here?
Yeah, it's definitely something that happens, and that's why for us the most important thing is, as a foreign company, is to always
be ahead.
Yeah, be ahead and be innovative. So that's what we're trying to do with this. We're selling those recliners really well, so that's why now we're working on the massage. We're working on other integrations and we can.
How long does it take to reverse engineer a design?
Oh, it's very, very quick.
You buy one and.
Yeah, I mean, if you have the design, then it takes 2 days, and you have a copy next to it.
And that's another reason why branding is so important, right?
Yeah, I mean, if a product is branded and you are the first with something, then you are known for bringing that,
exactly.
and you're known for being innovative. So, and that's one of the reasons why I really want to create more a brand. So it's known, not necessarily in the retail world, but at least B2B, that you're known like, okay, that brand is known for innovating.
You also showed us during the preparation this particular app that you have developed or you are developing, which basically allows people to just match whatever furniture you produce that's in your database to their own space. Could you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so we did develop. It's finished, and it's on the App Store.
QR code on the screen.
MODULAX.
It's on your shirt.
Not sponsored. We're paid in coffee and grapes.
Yeah.
So it is finished, and it's specifically for the recliners for now, because obviously it's a big investment to to do this, to make all the samples in 3D. But yeah, the idea is especially because, like I just said, people buy a recliner to add to their existing setting. The hardest part is you already have a sofa in a certain color, a carpet, curtains, wall color, and a certain setting. And the hardest part is, okay, how are we going to add that into our setting?
How is it going to match?
So what the app is doing, you can choose one of the models, you can choose it in the material and in the color you want, and then you can see it in AR in your own living room. So you can see on the screen one-to-one.
One of the main questions for me when I buy any kind of furniture, like, will it fit? Will it fit? Will it fit? Bring the tape.
So size-wise as well.
Exactly, size-wise as well. So the app is actually asking you to go around with the camera, so it's measuring the points around, and then once that's done, you get a red circle, and then you press on the screen, and then wherever you press, where your red circle is on that point,
so
you will place the recliner.
You do it when you're home. You just get your app, you look at your living room, and you do it there before you go to the store. Or
well, the idea for us is that first of all, it's a tool that will help for the retail stores, because the salespeople now, they all have an iPhone, or they have a phone, or they have an iPad or whatever, and they, in first case, they get to show to their customer a product in a different color. So I have it in my shop in black, but I can show it in white, in red, in blue, in any kind of color. Or different designs. I have one specific design here, but I also have the same design with a different armrest, and I can show you the product in 3D on the screen.
That's true.
And the next step is then that people can go home, they can download the app, and they can try it in their home, because then you can see, okay, it's matching, and you can literally walk around the chair. So once it's placed into your living room, you can walk around it, you can go closer, you can go further away.
But then you showed us, sorry, that you can actually recline it and you can open it, and like, cool. So you actually see whether if
exactly.
But then logically, you are home. Okay, I know about you did marketing. I know about Modulax. I know you have the this app. I'm at my home, looking at my living room, doing that. This is the one. Logically, buy online.
Yeah, we ourselves, we are not selling online.
You're not.
So that's something.
And you're not planning to.
So no, because we want to be fair to our retailers.
Okay.
We want to be. That's for us very important to be correct. Obviously, there will be the possibility for our retailers to sell online. If they have our agreement.
This is very nice of you. I mean, I would say.
Again, one of the reasons why it's interesting to do branding, because you can basically decide the price point that something will be sold in the market, and you can tell your dealers, like, hey, you cannot sell under that price.
And
so you can
I guess that in another sense, you get people to work for you when you don't bypass them.
For sure, there's also other things, right? I mean, it's not like you can just do it right away. You need to develop some system and warehousing or whatever you need to.
But we do have the warehousing. We do have stock in Europe. So everything that the retailers want to buy. So we could theoretically...
we talk again in 10 years. We see where you are.
But theoretically, we could perfectly, tomorrow we could start selling online, and we can deliver. Right. We could. But then you're killing your own business, because then the retailers, they will find out, they will stop buying your product, and it will not be in the shops
as
anymore.
long as the retailers are strong enough for you, and you are fair with them, and it's a system that you want to maintain.
Well, we are a retailer ourselves, and we know how it is if the supplier goes behind your back and sells it online. That's what happens in a lot of with a lot of businesses today.
Guys, we are going to take another short break, and we're going to be back with you in a second. Don't go anywhere. All right, guys, and we're back with Bram. Bram, when we were doing the preparation, I heard you speaking Chinese. You've been here since 2012. That's 8 years. What's your level of competence in terms of?
Is it LinkedIn Chinese? Like I can speak Chinese on LinkedIn, or is it like really Chinese?
Beginner.
I can speak. I can manage. I'm talking with workers, I'm talking with managers, and okay, I'm not an expert because I never had any classes, actually. I just, from the beginning, I had an assistant translating and listening what she says. I said this, she said that, okay, and then picking up like that step by step. So I never really studied Chinese. I just
picked it up. You speak Dutch and you speak
Flemish.
Dutch, Flemish, is
and you speak
French, yeah,
and English.
So
everybody in Belgium speak 3 languages, or a lot of people at least.
especially in the north part, most of the people can speak French as well. South part, the people who speak French, not a lot can speak.
So coming from a country like Belgium, I think it prepares you better to pick up another language.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
I'm quite sure. Even it's just our mentality. When we go on holiday to Spain or wherever you go, after 2 days you're already hola, dos cervezas.
Una cerveza.
Dos.
So you picked it up. You picked up Chinese, and we have a lot of guests like that. We keep making us feel bad, me and Fernando.
Yeah.
Because our Chinese is not great. But so you actually use it every day in the factory with the workers.
Yeah, I do, and I try to use it more and more because still translating is still not always the best way to communicate with somebody. I really want to be able to sometimes like let them know my feeling and let them know how and even though I'm not using the right words always, but
I bet you know a lot of furniture Chinese.
Do you
Yes,
socialize?
definitely.
Do you socialize with foreigner or Chinese at the same amount, or more with foreigners, more with Chinese?
in the beginning more with foreigners definitely, because in the beginning you don't speak any Chinese, but now more and more with Chinese as well. I used to play volleyball back in Belgium, and for many years I've been trying to find a volleyball team here in China, but I couldn't find. And then about a year ago, I accidentally found a volleyball team. They're all
Here?
Yeah, here in Dongguan.
I saw on social media
Where?
today that you got some second place. Something.
Yeah, second place.
You have a
with the
factory
Dongguan,
team now?
yeah,
No, it's not a factory. Recruits, but you're the sponsor.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, yeah, sponsor is just.
I used to play
the shirts.
volleyball in high school and university, and I actually really love it. But when I play volleyball with Chinese people, I hate it when they go like, eh. Like, come on, you guys have a national team, and eh.
Trust me, the guys I play with, you will not feel like that. They're really good.
Really?
They're really, some of them are really
So
good.
tell me about that team. I mean, where do they play? How often do they play? Could I join?
Yeah, definitely. If you want to join, no problem. They're playing
I'm a
tonight,
setter,
actually.
okay? Don't ask me
no
to
worries,
jump.
No worries. But I actually accidentally found them. We one day with a bunch of foreigners, we played. And then there was a women team who was playing just before us. We started talking. And then we joined once. And we joined once with quite a lot of foreigners. But then the rest just stopped playing. I'm the only foreigner right now. Well, there's one other American guy, but he's back in the US now. He's stuck in the US. But yeah, and that's why, so to come back to your question, that's why I'm getting more and more Chinese friends, because then after volleyball you go to have a drink or to eat something together.
How is socializing with Chinese? Some of our audience watching this have never been to China even. And, we know a lot of foreigners that complain, frustrated with things. How is the experience for you? You've been here a long time, and I know that you like it here, so I guess that's not the case, what I say.
No, definitely not. I mean, I really have a bunch of really, really good friends. And the nice thing is when they start inviting you at home, they cook traditional food, they take you to those hole-in-the-wall places that you would never go by yourself, but they have been going there for 10, 15 years already.
Sure.
And it's like you get the best food possible and the best drinks possible and whatever. So I really love it. I really
I'm going
love
to
it.
steal your question, okay? If you guys are following our channel, this is something that Ziv is always asking. When you tell Chinese people that you are from Belgium, what's the stereotype? What do they say? Oh, you must be what?
Chocolate?
Chocolate and
Really?
and I mostly add beer to that as well. Yeah, but chocolate is Belgium is for chocolate.
But what else? What else in Belgium?
I mean, as Belgian people, I mean...
Well, there's one story I'm gonna tell that all my friends that are gonna watch this are gonna do really again, but to
Different audience.
very important. French fries are called French fries because the American had them in the French part of Belgium, so they should be called Belgian fries.
Okay.
I'm not sure. And in Belgium we have like the best French fries ever. We
Do
have
you
like
guys do the thing where you mix them with what's the vinegar that the British do?
Or what they do in Holland?
Mayonnaise.
We fry them in lard.
That is good. Good trick. Yeah.
And we fry them twice. So you fry them once at a lower temperature to get them soft on the inside, and then the second time on a higher temperature to get them crispy and like golden brown.
So
on
so the famous American food is French fries
Coming from
Belgium.
Yep.
Interesting.
Talking about IP theft.
So is chocolate really that good? I mean, the Chinese people ask you to bring them some chocolate?
Well, I always bring my. I mean, like half of my luggage is chocolates. I think.
Yeah.
Half of my luggage is coffee.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Mine's hummus, I guess. I don't know. Yeah.
Actually, Belgium is known for coffee as well.
For real?
Yeah, but okay, we don't have the coffee beans, but for processing coffee, for
drinking.
making, but for making
we
good
drank
coffee.
some, yeah.
It's in Belgium we're good at processing.
What's your
stuff
favorite
better.
food here in China?
Oh, I love
Chinese.
dim sum.
Dim sum.
Dim sum. I really love good dim sum.
When you got here first, the 2012, for the first few months, did you like Chinese food in the beginning?
I was very hard.
Yeah,
in the
hard,
very
right?
beginning, I mean, it was so strange eating hot stuff in the morning, and I mean, I was not used. In Belgium, we eat like bread twice a day
With butter.
and then we have and then we have a hot meal most of the time once a day.
Yeah.
And here in China, it's just 3 times of the day. It's a hot meal,
Right.
and that was like one of the biggest culture shocks for me. And then the different kinds and the different ways to cook stuff. But now, man, I wouldn't want to trade it for any money in the world. I love it. I actually recently I've been thinking several times, like sitting in a restaurant and thinking like, or this week I went to eat at Selena's home, and her husband and her parents-in-law cooked, and I was sitting there and I was thinking to myself, I was looking at the food and I was thinking to myself, there was no way 8 years ago I would go
Right.
like.
I think it's a very common experience.
yeah.
For me, it's the same,
Yeah.
right?
But
I mean, I would
you
say
incorporate things into you, and then when you leave China, you're like, oh, I miss.
it's the first thing I
chicken
miss.
feet.
Not chicken feet.
I
That's
do.
you. That's you. Not me. But I do miss Chinese food when I'm not in China. But I mean, so other things, you're running a factory, right? That must be hard work, I would assume, right?
Yeah.
Long hours. So what other things you get to do living in China as a foreigner? You love it, right? You said. What are the reasons you love it for, living here?
Obviously, it's a very beautiful country. There are a lot of nice things to see. The culture,
You
the
travel a
people.
lot?
I try to, but I work a lot. so that's. I travel more and more also to visit potential customers within China. But if you're traveling for work, you always see a little bit of the culture, but you never really see what you want to see. And everywhere you go, the food is different as well. What a lot of people don't understand, like in Europe, when somebody says Chinese food, we all think of the Chinese food place with like the noodles in
Is
boxes
it like the US
and stuff.
European Chinese food?
It's a little bit different, but anyway, the concept is the same. It's all every Chinese restaurant is like
They don't understand there is a lot
same,
of
same menu, yeah. And the thing is, in China, what people don't understand is like in Europe, every single country has a lot of different types of food, and China is so much bigger than Europe. So every different province and then every different city has different typical dishes and everything. So everywhere you go from unedible spicy food to sweet to
Just
to
yesterday,
salty
and I've been here for 20 years. Yesterday, I was learning about Sichuan hot pot, and I'm like, what? Like they have this hot pot with 9 different levels of spices. I'm like, okay, that's a new thing for me.
Sichuan.
Just yesterday. Yep.
The Sichuan, I mean, there's always this
Chongqing,
argument.
I think? Was
There's
it
always the
Chongqing?
argument, what's the spiciest food in China? Is it Sichuan or Hunan?
Yeah.
Right? I don't know. What would you say?
Do you eat spicy
I
food?
don't know. Maybe it's the Hunan food dipped in the Sichuan hot pot.
I think Sichuan.
I cannot eat spicy food, unfortunately, because I have a bad stomach.
Same here.
Yeah.
Give it all to me. It's okay. I love it. Yeah.
But I've been in Chengdu like a month or 2 months ago or something, and I had Sichuan hot pot there, and it was really funny because there were 2 massive hot pots, almost bigger than this table, 2 next to each other, and then there was like one tiny small
With no
pot inside
spices.
with not spicy, and that was for me. And the other 2, the very big ones, they were like they were so spicy. Literally, I cannot describe it in any other way than it was. It looked like boiling blood. That's how it looked. It was like, and even like the thickness. It's not like water, but it's like really thick and spicy. It's really
the worst thing that I've had is like when it starts to boil, right? Like the vapor, it starts to come out, and sometimes it blows into your eyes. You're like, what the heck?
Yeah, Sichuan hot pot is very, very spicy. But like I always say, what's the deal with going to a restaurant and cook for yourself anyway?
A game with the hot. I love hot pot, man.
Yeah, I got to like hot pot as well, thanks to the guys from volleyball, by the way.
Good days. What about Belgians in China? I mean, Belgians. Are there many? Where are they?
We're so few in our country. How can we be many outside?
More than my country.
Yeah,
a little bit more. Yeah.
What's the population of Belgium?
About 11 million, 11 something million.
So like Dongguan, more.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah. Well, Dongguan has more.
For sure.
Well, I don't know how many officially in Dongguan, but
probably around the same. I would say not officially.
Yeah,
maybe
but
officially, maybe
10.
No,
10,
I think
12.
unofficially, I think it will be
Probably
even 13
more.
or 14. Yeah, but I mean, with all the factories.
So I mean, are you involved? Like, is there like a chamber of commerce?
There is a chamber of commerce. Kind of it's a combination of Belgium and Holland. The only issue for me is that they are located in Guangzhou and in Shenzhen.
Right.
And the events are often like on a weekday in the evening, or excuse me. And for me, a Friday is a weekday as well. Like,
sure.
Saturday is a working day for me.
Right.
So if on Friday they're doing an event, then and it's driving to Guangzhou. By the time you're in the center of Guangzhou, it's 2 hours. So it's very difficult for me to be able to.
But like you said, there are not
and
many people from your country in China, so there must be not many fully owned companies, fully owned foreign companies from your countries in China. You're probably one of
one of the
those.
only ones. Yeah, I don't think there are too many.
So
too many around.
Is it famous in Belgium for being a company that's heavily in China? Is it?
Well, in the furniture business, yes. Obviously, outside of the furniture business, it's. I mean, you guys don't even know any furniture brand, let alone that everybody in Belgium would know that we are located in China. But
you just mentioned that you drive.
Yeah, unfortunately. Well, no, I'm joking, but it's that's one of the only things that I think I will never get used to in China. Is the stress during the driving, especially now they're working on the road from home to
we were like
work.
45 minutes late.
So you drive every morning and evening you go back home. How long does it take you?
20 to 30 minutes. I mean, I leave early and I come early and I leave late.
How many times you swear during these 30 minutes?
Too often. No, the swearing is okay. It's only like if they really, but yeah, it's.
What about accidents? Have you ever had any accidents?
This morning.
I know, really?
No, but not a bad accident. But I had a car hitting while they're merging.
Because I drove in here and I saw Bram and no car there. Is that why?
Sorry,
I drove in here to the parking
my
lot.
car. No, sorry. Okay,
there's a parking space that said Bram, and I'm like,
no,
this is not.
It's not. No, my car is okay, but it's parked at another. They went out with they went out with it earlier today.
What is the future of the company in China, you think, and of you in China living here, 8 years now in? What the future holds for you here and for the company?
Well, I think a big part of that will also be decided about how well will we do on the local market and everything.
Right.
Because the better we do on the local market, the longer I will stay. But in general, I think I will stay for a while. I think it will still.
You don't see any reason yet to go back.
Well, obviously, I miss my family. For me, family is really important.
Do they visit here?
Well, my dad obviously comes often, but my brother came twice since I'm here. But yeah, he has a son now, so it's
on a normal season, not 2020. How often do you go back home?
Well, in the last 2 years, I went more often. Before, I used to go like twice, and every time would be for work. But yeah, lately it's more often, and there are times that I go back, like when my dad had his I'm not going to say your age, Dad. It's okay. When he had a round number of birthday, I went back to Belgium and
he changed decades
to celebrate and that yeah. So I go more often. Before it's like, oh, it's not necessary. I'll stay in China, but you realize that it's important.
So when they come here, when your family come here, it's all work, or you guys travel together and do some.
When my dad comes here, it's work. Yeah, because he's also so busy back in Belgium. So when he comes here, it's like
he's still full on the company.
Yes, yeah. Okay. I'm sure he will still be for a long time. Every year he says that he will slow down, but.
Your family, how many brothers, sisters, do they all work in the company as well?
I got a twin brother, I got an older sister, I got a younger sister, which is from another mother, and I got a stepbrother.
Okay.
Oh, so and then from my mother's side also, so 2 stepsisters. So,
okay.
I don't want to be diplomatic. I don't want to be
twin brother, you said.
Twin brother, yeah, but unfortunately for him, he doesn't look like me.
He would say the other way.
Do you think your siblings, I mean, your twin brother and everything, do they feel like, oh, it's good, Bram, you stay there, you run it, or they would be interested to also be here?
Well, my sister is not in the business. My older sister, my younger sister turned 11 yesterday, and my twin brother. He would definitely not want to come here.
No.
He's character-wise, we are completely the opposite, completely different.
And he also works for the company.
He also works for the company. He's the logistics manager in Belgium.
So what is that thing that you have that made you come to China and love China that you say is different from your brother?
It's very hard to say, but my brother is like, how to say, like really like to be home and like to be and I want to see the world.
For a lot of people is adaptability. Mm-hmm. You know, adaptability, the ability to adapt to a different environment.
What I want to say. I think I'm also very social, very open, I want to discover things, I want to see new things, I want to, even if I have to do it by myself, I'll get on a plane by myself and fly to the other side of the world. While there are people.
What are some of the advantages for me, for example, to be in Dongguan is that I'm very close to Hong Kong and I can travel around Southeast Asia. Have you done much traveling around this area?
Oh, much again for work, yes. For traveling, I go on holiday once, twice a year, and I've seen some Bali, Thailand. Let me think. South Korea,
Philippines.
Japan, Philippines. I actually never have been for holiday. I know it's a shame. It's on the list. It's on the list.
Cheap and great.
Yeah.
Cheap and great.
Yeah. So what would you, as an expat that likes it here, what would you give as an advice for people that come to China to live well here, to get used to it, to be adaptable, to enjoy it? What kind of advice would you give?
I think the best advice I can give is by learning from my mistake. Maybe is
what was your mistake?
Like quicker get involved with the local people. It's something that very typical. Like we don't speak the language, they don't speak our language, so I'm gonna stay away from them. And that's something. I mean, there were a few people like Selena that's still working with me, and a few other people that could speak English, and I did a lot of things with, but like getting to know more people and really
involving yourself,
involve and even really get in the middle of the culture and in the middle of the because that's something that I did wrong in my opinion in the beginning is trying to create a bullpen and do what you do. I mean in the beginning the series and the movies I've seen at home while I could have gone out there and see so much more and do so much more.
It's so easy and convenient, right? You live in this little expatville,
exactly,
and everything is around foreigners. You just go to the bar to have a beer with someone, and you can do it for a long time.
Yeah.
I did that for some time, but it gets old very quickly.
It does get old, It depends on the person, I guess, but it's good that it gets old, I guess.
Yeah, for me, it's something now, especially because working 6 days, often 7 days a week. The only day that I often have off, I love to spend just at home, invite some friends for dinner, or go to some friends for dinner and just relax and not necessarily go out and that kind of stuff.
How about the thing with expats that we, we live in a place for 5, 10, 20 years, and you have, every time you have starting to have a very good friend, they leave. They go.
Yeah.
Yeah, you had that.
Yeah, Lucho, stay in China. Come on, stay.
Yeah.
No, he's going to Vietnam, and now because of the coronavirus, he's
stuck here.
He's stuck here. He cannot go, and yeah, there are. If I would have to call all the names of the people who already left, that I still miss a lot. And the really pity thing is that every single time that somebody leaves, you tell yourself, I'm gonna stay in contact with them, but still, I
would say another thing to what you said, it was very good advice what you said. Get involved with the local community. And I would say another thing, which I think we all do, is treat it like your home. Like you have a dog too, right? You have 2 dogs, you said.
Yeah.
Fernando has, I have cats, whatever. So whatever it is, you drive, we all drive. How in the beginning you think, no, I'm not going to drive. It's easy to take taxis.
That was something for me. I wanted to drive as quick as possible.
So the more you treat it like home, I think the more you feel at home.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. For me, I was talking to a friend, Paolo, and I was telling him, if I don't have a dog, it doesn't feel like home.
Right.
For me, a dog is a sign of home.
Yeah.
But, of course, when I first came to China, I was like, I'm not going to have a dog until I know that I'm going to stay here. Right. So I had my first dog 5 years into it, and okay, I'm gonna make a career here. So that's when I got my first dog, because it's a huge responsibility. A lot of people, they get a dog and, I'm gonna go away, so you take care of my dog. I'm like, how long have you had your dogs?
I got Blaze for 4 years, 5 years, 5 years.
That's the lab?
That's the lab, yeah, the black lab. And then I got Duga for a few months. She's a rescue. She's a...
How did you go about getting your dogs? I mean, did you go to a pet shop or?
Well, I did make the mistake in the very beginning to go to a pet shop, and I got a beagle, and he passed away within 2 weeks.
Yes.
CGV,
common story. Puppy farms,
actually, it was
puppy mills.
so stupid for me. I asked for the vaccination book, and they were like, "Sure, we will go get it." And then it took them 20 minutes to come back with the vaccination book. But you're so excited, you're getting your dog, and then
those eyes looking at you.
Why the hell do they take 20 minutes to go to get the vaccination book? Why the vaccination book is not there in the shop? It doesn't. Afterwards, you. But yeah.
And then how did you get later? What did you do?
Blaze.
Different.
Blaze, I got from a place in Liaobu, adoption.
How was it? You adopted it?
Yeah.
Like a
but
shelter?
He was still a puppy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And then Duga now I got from Shenzhen. She's a rescue. She actually...
Sachin?
Sorry?
From Sachin or from which rescue?
Well, I got her through the WeChat moments from Liberty, from Kendall, then
the one in Bawan?
No, it's close to Windows of the World that I got her, and she has water in her, liquid in her brains, and she cannot see very well and she cannot hear very well, and I was like, I don't know why I had the feeling I want to do something good, and I was like, okay, that would be a perfect match with Blaze, which is a massive black lab, and I was like, okay, if she doesn't find her way, she's just gonna have to look for the big black spot and just follow that. And that's the way it's going now. Actually,
how do you have 2 dogs when you work a lot? How do you?
I walk them in the morning. I walk them in the evening, and even on Saturdays, often I put them in the car. I bring them here.
I do the same thing. I bring my dogs to the center.
Right.
And it's interesting because a lot of kids are scared of dogs, but my dog is so it's part of that education that I bring to...
It's educating.
Yeah. Not into a classroom anyway, but she's in a teacher's room, so the kids are
she's not teaching English?
No.
All right.
Cool. All right, guys. So we want to thank you very, very much for having us here in this cool workshop with the tools and everything, and for sharing your experience making furniture here. And
Until next time, what do we need to do in the end of the show?
You haven't learned the outing.
I don't really listen to what you say in the end. You know? Yeah, we want,
like this
we
video,
want
okay, come on. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, and if you like the content of our channel, make sure to make sure to subscribe to it. And if you do that, don't forget to hit the bell button to be notified whenever there is a new video. Make sure to follow us in the social media here at the bottom until we see you again.
And one thing though, let's see if we still remember how to say Bram's last name.
Oh no,
This is gonna take another 30 minutes.
Vandendriessche.
Thank you, Bram. Thank you for having us here.
Thank you guys.
And now we're gonna take a look at your factory right after.
Sure.
All right.
Bye guys. Until we see you again, take it easy and bye for now.